we in the coffee industry say a lot of things that we also know from the depth of our hearts that maybe not really true or very accurate, but we stand behind them and we put that image out there like, look,
Mhm.
this is us, this is the industry, this is whatever. And it's marketing.
Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Map It Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and this is episode 1 of a 5-part series that I didn't know that I needed to have. It is my deep pleasure and honor to introduce you to Alan Jarrar. Alan is, you all know Alan without knowing that you know Alan. If you are a fan of the 50% Arabica meme account on Instagram, that's Alan. And I think that we can all agree that, Alan, you do a major service to the coffee industry by making us laugh and making us think. And you do it in a way that makes people feel very comfortable because you do it through humor. I feel very, very honored to have had beautiful, deep conversations with you, as well as witnessed you present the things that you do through humor. So welcome to the podcast for the first time. I hope it's going to be the first time of many conversations we have on this podcast.
Hello, Lee. Wow, thank you for such a warm welcome. And thanks for having me here. I'm really looking forward to this.
Me too, sir. We are going to talk about something that I have never seen anybody talk about on a series on a podcast. And so I have been waiting for the right person to have this conversation with for 6 years. And you are the right person to have this conversation with because of what you do and the way that you deliver what you do through your artistic endeavor on your account. We're going to be talking about coffee cults, which are something that you have a very unique approach with through your meme account, 50% Arabica. So today we're going to be talking about the account, what it does and what it serves. And then as we move through this series, folks, we're going to take a very fun kind of approach to coffee cults and kind of what role they play in the industry. So, Alan, tell us about 50% Arabica, how it happened and what it does.
It happened kind of spontaneously 4 years ago, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Was working at a coffee shop. Most of my career I've been working as a barista and partially a roaster for the last 3 years as a roaster and green sourcing coffees for our company with my partner Calliope. And back then I was working in a coffee shop in Prague. I felt kind of burned out. I think every coffee professional I spoke to in the last 4 years had that experience of feeling stuck in a loop. No real progress, a conflict of what I would love to do and what I actually am doing. So I felt stuck, and this was my way to unfeel that, if you will.
I like that.
Making coffee jokes just to not take myself so seriously about work and stuff like that. And I noticed that people could relate to a lot of these memes or jokes or references. And also over the years in the coffee industry, I've had so many conversations with colleagues, co-workers, roasters, baristas, producers, and you start talking about a certain topic or a trend in the industry, if you will, or a certain brewer or a recipe or whatever it is we do in specialty coffee. And a lot of the times we brought something up and said, hey, this is kind of weird, isn't it? This particular thing or event or whatever. It's a little bit silly, isn't it? And everyone would be like, yeah, sure, right? We know how it works, this is kind of odd. So I was wondering,
Folks, our first on-demand workshop, How to Become a Coffee Consultant, is now available for you to learn at your own pace for just €50, and it comes with a certificate upon completion. Go to mapperforward.coffee/workshops or click the link in the show notes for more details. Support this podcast by supporting our sponsors.
We in the coffee industry say a lot of things that we also know from the depth of our hearts that maybe not really true or very accurate, but we stand behind them and we put that image out there like, look, this is us, this is the industry, this is whatever. And it's marketing. I realized there is a lot of marketing going in the industry, which I think is very natural, and you can find it in any industry in the world. And when you work in it, you kind of start to see behind the scenes a little, and then you see behind the scenes a little more. So yeah, I found this way to make a little fun, if you will, about certain things that are kind of ambivalent or strange, or just the daily thing from behind the coffee bar,
Is the point of it to get people to laugh? Is the point of it to get people to think? Or is it something that's like a mishmash between those things?
All of it, I think. Yeah. Sometimes I want to have a laugh, so I make something, to hit my meme dopamine level for the day. People relate, and sometimes I want to say something maybe not that comfortable, something provocative, or something challenging, and the best way to hide something serious is to hide it in a joke.
100%.
So it's like an isolant. Is that a word in English? I don't know. When you have electric wires and they are isolated,
Yeah.
So they don't kick you. You don't get
Insulated.
hit by the electricity because it's insulated. So I think humor works in that way for me.
I certainly have noticed that people who are uncomfortable having difficult conversations are very comfortable discussing them when your memes are at the center of them. So it almost acts like a kind of a campfire in a very cathartic way for particularly the men that I've met in the industry that are big fans. And a lot of people send me your memes. Whenever they know, a lot of people send me your memes, particularly when they know that they're about something that we've spoken about on the podcast. They're like, look, he's covering this as well. And people will say to me that it's easier to talk about it when I can talk around the picture. Like that's at the focus of it. They can approach the conversation that way because it's sort of like they're looking at it with one eye closed. And maybe we can all just pretend that we're not really talking about something very deep. It is genius. And I know I told you this when we had a chat a few weeks ago, but I think what you do is not only necessary for the coffee industry, I think it is genius in the way that you're able to get people to think about things that they would never normally think about because the topics are too scary to think about.
Well, maybe they would think about it normally, but the memes are, like you said, it's very digestible. Uh, it's not harmful. It's you can have a laugh and also think about something more serious if it's hidden there. Right?
I'm not sure that some of the targets of your memes would agree that they weren't harmful.
I know. I know what you're referring to. Yeah.
In my opinion. So, look, in the next episode, folks, we're going to start actually talking about coffee cults. We're going to talk about defining what a coffee cult is. And we're going to keep this conversation light because we know that you guys don't want to take things too deep. But what we do hope is that if you do want to talk about this stuff with your peers, that you will. So join us in the next episode and we're going to talk about coffee cults. Strap yourselves in. This is going to be so much fun. Peace, love, and peanut butter. Have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in, friends. There are 2 ways you can support this podcast. Firstly, become a paid member of our YouTube channel. Secondly, you can join our Patreon for as little as $3 a month. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video before you leave and check the show notes for more information. Now, this is what you should check out next.